Seeing how dirty and corrupt the industry is, the pig industry. They're in confinements, they're on concrete floors, they're force-fed food.
Welcome to a series that I like to call Cali Girl Goes Country. I'm Jess Randle. I was born and raised in Southern California, but the older I get, the further away from the city I want to be. So if that sounds like something that you can relate to, then please join me as I embark on an adventure of a lifetime, traveling around the US, meeting people who are bringing back lost arts, learning new skills, reconnecting people with where their food comes from, encouraging everyone to become more independent and more conscious consumers, but most importantly, having lots of fun. So sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 1. So I'm here with Matt from Ancestral Farms. We are in Iowa, and today we are going to be exploring his pig farm. He raises pigs, but if you don't know, Iowa is kind of known for pigs, but they aren't always raised in the most ideal conditions, and Matt is hoping to change that. His pigs aren't in cages, they get to roam free, they're not given antibiotics, they're not given vaccines. He only supplements with non-GMO grains from a locally sourced farm about 20 miles away from here.
Yep, about 25 miles away.
Perfect. So Matt, what are we going to be doing today?
So today we've got a little bit of fix work to do. I've got a waterer that needs to be repaired, so we have to get that back up and running. I saw that last night when I was doing chores. We also need to get these girls fed this morning, and then we're going to go over to the new area, which is where we're going to be starting our hogs at next year, and we'll kind of start marking out where we're going to be putting the fence line in over there.
Perfect. Can't wait.
Right now, they're on about 5 pounds a day as a maintenance meal kind of weight for them.
Yeah.
Still able to grow and stuff like that, but there's just no need to be, it's a cost thing.
Yeah.
We're putting our money where we need to be, and these girls don't need to be, growing for any sort of butcher date.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got their food weighed out over here. If you'd like, I can give that to you. We can walk it down. They might get a little curious as we're going down, so they might kind of come up to you and stuff like that, but they should be okay and not give us too much grief going down.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you think you can clear the fence here, we can go over here. Otherwise, we could take the long way around and go through the gate up here. It's completely up to you.
Let's go the long way.
Okay.
I don't want to embarrass myself. What are we doing now?
So there is a leak back here that I noticed the other day when I was filling it. This is a water that I created for them that I need to clean these nipples out, but there's 3 nipples on the sides here.
Okay.
I fill it with water and they've trained themselves to come up and drink out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to clean off this back area right up along here. And then I'm going to put some epoxy in there to seal it so it can stay from draining on us. We are, as you can see, we're first generational, we're small time, we are self-funded. So any way that we can kind of, and I feel like that's universal for any farmer nowadays is trying to make it. Anytime that you can reuse something or repurpose something or extend the life on something, mm-hmm. You definitely got to.
Okay, and why did you start this? Like what was your motivation?
So we have actually been doing this for less than a year now. Last October, we bought our first pigs. My partner in this is someone that I served in the military with. We've been best friends ever since, and his brother had developed a autoimmune disease and had a really tough time figuring out his diet after that and what was going to allow him to live a full and healthy life. Mm-hmm. And a big part of that was being more meat driven in his diet. I don't know if Jay is currently full carnivore or just meat-centric mm-hmm. in his diet, but I know that through that, he saw a lot of his stomach problems clear up. He gained energy again. He gave the ability to work out and stuff like that because he really went through a tough time. Mm-hmm. After seeing that and watching his brother go through it, my friend Micah, a business partner, contacted me. He was like, hey man, I've been watching Jay go through this. Can we start raising some sort of animal? And originally it was chickens, and because I had raised chickens before, and I was like, well, there's a real bottleneck in the state of Iowa, for chickens. We've got one processor. The rest of them only focus on pork and beef. So I was like, I just bought my first pig last Father's Day. And I was like, have you thought about pigs? I was finding that I kind of really enjoyed working with them. So we bought those two, and instantly we're like, well, we need to get more pigs because these might not work. So 2 months later, we bought 3 more. And then 2 months later, we bought 3 more. And then we kind of trickled some in. And what we were really doing was figuring out what's going to work best for us, what's going to work best for our customer, the type of meat we want to put out, because there is differences between the breeds and the pH value and the kind of the depth of flavor that you get with one versus, maybe the marbling the other. But that's how we really got into it, was through my brother's, or my friend's brother, is what got us interested in it. And then just doing more research and seeing how kind of dirty and corrupt the industry is, especially the pig industry. Being here in the state of Iowa, we're the largest pig producer in America, and we don't do it in the woods primarily. They're in confinements, they're on concrete floors, they're force-fed food, not force-fed, but they keep the lights on in some of them to keep them up all day so that they can continually eat. They aren't raised in clean conditions. They're, bred for their speed of growth, not the quality in which they're growing. We're full belief that through the feed that we supplement them, as well as everything that they can forage for out here, that also gives them the macro and micronutrients that they need to really have the best flavor and the healthiest meat that we feel like we can put out. So, seeing the diversity here in the state of Iowa and wanting to do something a little bit, in our minds, better than what the current option was another driving force in that. And then just a passion for it. I think it's really fun. Our breeder in Indiana, who's going to be getting us our hogs, is inseminating our gilt that we bought. Should be this week, and then we'll have her delivered in about 40 to 45 days after that. So next year we're going to be going to, have you ever seen IBC totes? Giant plastic totes with the metal cages around them. About 3. They usually contain they can contain fertilizers. The ones we're getting are food grade, so they were used in some sort of food production or something like that. Either carry a lot of times a vegetable oil or something like that. So then they're rinsed out. But we're going to be using those and attaching pig nipples to them for our waters next year, and those can hold 250 gallons at a time.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be a little bit better than what we're currently having to do with it.
Yeah. Are you going to be using rainwater, or are you going to...
I would like to start collecting rainwater, absolutely. Land is very expensive, especially ag land in Iowa, but what we're looking for isn't your primary ag land. We don't need row crop land. We don't need stuff that's cleared out because the pigs will clear it. This was all extremely dense in here when we started. And you've seen just through 1 year, and we probably could have put 10 to 15 more hogs in here, keeping them through that rotation period, and really clear this area out, which was our intent, was to re-clear this area, replant it, have it be more of a usable forest space than just dense overgrowth, nothingness out here. And the pigs love it. It gives them time to root through stuff. It gives them stuff to explore. It gives them stuff to eat. And that's one of the things we try and do for them as well. We want them to live as close to the same life as they would in the wild, as while they're here.
Okay. Did I do a good job?
Absolutely. No, that looks amazing.
We have fixed their water trough.
Yep.
And we fed them. So what are we doing now?
Now we're going to go over to the area that we're going to be moving or starting the hogs off in next year. As you saw, this area has been really ran through. We needed to give it some time to rest, to get some foliage and cover crops coming up. So to start off next year, we're going to be running the pigs in this side, which is about double the size as this one, which would be nice because we're looking to bump up to about 40 or 50 hogs in the springtime next year.
Okay.
So we'll go around and I'm just going to start looking at where I'm going to be putting the electric fence. This one doesn't have a hard fence. I don't know, you can't see it through that brush, but there's a hard fence there with hog wire running all the way around it. And then we have a secondary electric fence on the inside. This one will only be electric fence. So what I need to do is go through there and figure out where I'm going to run that at and make sure it's not near anything that's going to short it out eventually, any overgrowth, stuff like that.
Okay, so how do you decide what that is or where it's going to go?
Just wherever I want to put it, honestly.
Awesome.
I'm going
Okay.
to try and look and see, you know, obviously accessibility, being able to get in and figure out where, you know, we're going to put the feeders at. So I'm not having to go all the way through the paddock with food or all the way through the paddock with water. And then just making sure that we're keeping them out of any areas that we wouldn't want. So this was one of the bargains that I had to make with the owner, is because he really, you know, he's put a lot of time and effort into these woods. There's trails through here. This is where he has people come in and where the good part of the hunting ground is. So it took a couple months of me talking to him, you know, him kind of seeing what we were doing on the other side and making sure that we were going to be doing what we said we were and maintaining it the way we said we were. But he finally allowed me to move in here under the condition that this would be our last year, at least in this area,
Yeah.
which is completely fine. We knew coming into this was going to be temporary. So this probably will be an area that we have at least one feeder in and some waters. And then ultimately another deal that I made with the landowner is that whatever I tear up, I have to replant some food plots for deer. So the hunters can make sure that they are getting something out of it too. Right now, we've really just been figuring out ourselves as a farm and as, you know, making sure that we're putting out consistent quality, that we were getting the quality that we wanted first. Because it took 5-6 months to get these pigs to weight, get it to the processor, get it back, test it. So a lot of this first year has just been figuring out all these processes being generation one. There's a lot of good communities out there. But we found that we needed to just kind of focus on that part of the business up until really right now. We are about to October 8th, 9th, we're rolling out our website, and that way people can go online and order directly from us. We ship across the country. We're going to start off with meat bundles, which is kind of what I sent you, just kind of an assortment of what we feel are really good meats, things that people have gotten back to us over this first year after trying and said they really liked. There we go.
We got that one. Wait, can I try?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, that was close.
My first try was better.
That one's a little bent. Try one that's not already bowed like that.
Nope, my first try was better. There we go.
Perfect.
Are you hoping, how are you going to be sharing what you guys are doing? Are you hoping that more people will try to raise their pigs this way just by word of mouth, or how are you going to get like exposure to this way of raising pigs?
I think that's one of the big things that social media is doing for us, and that I've seen just in the couple of ads that we've ran, or just you know, organic interaction that we've gotten from people in places like New York, Chicago, places that, you know, aren't used to stuff like this. Them being able to see what we're doing, and I've heard plenty of comments of, you know, it's really cool to see pigs raised like this, or I didn't know that they still raise hogs like this. So all of it is trying to essentially prove a model that can show other people that it's possible, and that not only it's possible, but that you're going to get a better quality product by doing this. It takes a little bit more foresight, it takes a little bit more planning, it takes a little bit more hands-on, but you've got a much better product at the end.
So you mentioned Edward, that's where you take your pigs to get processed. Have you gone and toured the facility? Do you know kind of how they, is it called process the pigs? Like what's the
That's
proper...
what we like to say,
Okay.
yeah, process the pigs. I think that sounds the best. Yeah, Luke, the owner of Edgewood, actually gave me a tour before we decided to work exclusively with them next year. So I was able to see, you know, the entire inside of their business. He led me through every room. The cleanliness was amazing. They just built a new facility, which is double the size of their original building. So expanding a lot. They have extensive options there, which we really liked. And then also the humane side of it. He showed me where they bring the hogs in, and their method, I'm not saying it's the best method or what everyone needs to agree with, but we feel like it's in line with what we would want within the options that are available. Because all of our meat has to be USDA inspected. So there are guidelines in which they have to neutralize that pig before processing. So the way that Edgewood does it is the hogs are brought in and they are stunned with electricity. So instantaneously they are knocked out. And then from there they are cut and bled. So again, it's a messy process, whichever way you look at it. You know, like being a producer, I don't even like it, you know, but it's a necessary evil. And it's something that we have to be comfortable with in this business. And I felt like after looking at the facility, the cleanliness, the way they bring them in, and then just being talked to through the way in which they dispatch the pigs was in line with our morals and the way that we would want to see that hog, you know, be treated at the end of its life.
Okay, so it looks like I did a good job repairing this.
It's holding water, that's for sure. And that's all we needed it to do.
Awesome. So we're gonna fill it up, and then that'll be the end of our tours for today, right?
Yeah, and we really appreciate you guys coming by.
Okay, Matt, well, thank you for letting me come and explore your paddock. It was nice meeting you. I love what you're doing, but where can people go to find you, to follow you, to learn more?
Yeah, so if you want to follow us on social media, it's at Ancestral Farms, Iowa, Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is primarily where we do a lot of our stuff at. And then we'll be opening our website up next week, ancestralfarmsiowa.com, and that's where you can order all of our pork products from as well.
Perfect. And thank you guys so much for joining us. See you again soon.